I may be stepping on some toes here, and that's totally okay because I am willing to risk stepping on some people's toes in order to get some factual truth out there. So, yesterday I alluded in one post to how sometimes your sanctification will come in the parts of your life in that like may be uncomfortable, like in moments or different invitations that you wouldn't think like you would be in. Does that make sense? So something that is triggering, something that hurts, something that is literally in the depths of something that you're struggling with, that's where you'll see your sanctification and your healing. It's not running from it. Like running from those things is not going to bring you sanctification and healing. Sometimes God brings you into those things and out of your comfort zone so that you can heal, so that He can sanctify you, so that you can get a different perspective and outlook on life and grow more, not just as a human being, but also spiritually. So one of these examples is after I had my miscarriage back in 2023. My husband and I have been trying to have another child for about 6 years now, 5 or 6 years, and we're experiencing secondary infertility, and it's because all this time I didn't know it, but I was diagnosed this last year with stage 1 endometriosis, and I'm going at the end of this month for surgery for the removal of it. So it was causing infertility and miscarriages. And I had my miscarriage, and it was so painful to me. After years of trying, I finally conceived, and then I go in for my first ultrasound just to find that my baby didn't have a heartbeat. And then there was 2 weeks after that I still carried my baby and waited for my baby to naturally pass. And it was an extremely painful time. It was it took a lot of mental, it was like a mental war. It was a mental thing more than a physical, I think, at times. So after this had happened, it was very painful for me to see pregnant women. It was painful for me to see babies, or to hear delivery stories, or to see all these women having, so many multiple kids, 6 kids, 10 kids, and it feels like now like social media is just one big highlight reel of like a competition almost of like how many kids a woman can have, and it can be very hurtful to the community that are experiencing infertility and child loss. And I was one of those. And so when I had to get a job, and my I don't even know like why I did this, honestly. It had to have just been God speaking to me, because a normal me would have been like, no, I'd rather go anywhere else. I think to me, I rationalized it as being my hours being flexible, and that's why I took on the job at the daycare, because I needed flexible hours in order to be able to also get my kids to where they needed to go for their activities and school and stuff like that. In daycare at my parish, they were very understanding about the hours I could work. So I'd like to say that that's the reason that I did it, but I really feel like it was more God-led, because here I am, somebody really struggling with infant loss and infertility, and now I'm working at a daycare surrounded by babies and pregnant women constantly all the time. And it was so painful to go through this. Like, I'm not going to say that the sanctification process and the healing process is easy. It was very triggering. It was very painful. There were days that I left crying. But then those days got less and less. And then I found that what was actually healing to me were those babies. I found that I could love those children as much as I could love my own children. So in a way, it felt like instead of God giving me a baby, He gave me 10 babies, 11 babies, 13 babies, 25 babies. There's been so many kids that I have taken care of and that I have loved like a mother. And that's where a lot of sanctification came from. It's where a lot of healing came from. It came in the painful parts. It came in the places I was trying to avoid. And I think that sometimes if we just open ourselves up to the possibility to being uncomfortable and maybe even going through the hurt, that we can really find some good things on the other side. We can find healing on the other side of that, and that ultimately is what God wants for us. So I just wanted to explain what I was talking about in that video, because it's so very important to life, because we all have that thing. And I just invite you to really be honest with yourself to see what your thing is.